Hi, I'm David Hanson.
I'm Andy Park.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So I'm sorry that we have to meet under these circumstances. I know it's must be a difficult time for you going through this. If you need to take a break at all during my questions that I'm about to ask you, feel free to, and I'll get you some water if you need that. And if you're not comfortable answering any of the questions, feel free to just not answer them. I totally understand, as I imagine this has been a very painful experience. So I just like to start off a little bit to learn more about your family. So who is in your family?
I have a wife, and then I have a daughter, and my daughter's name is Sydney Park.
Mm-hmm. And where do you and your wife and Sydney live?
We live in a nice little neighborhood, little suburb.
And where is this?
Albertville.
Okay. And have you always lived in Albertville?
No, we haven't. We moved there a couple of years ago.
And is it a generally safe area?
Yeah, it's pretty safe, except for one time while we were away, our home was actually burglarized.
Okay. And are you close with any of your neighbors?
Yeah, we're pretty good friends, especially with the Durans, or I should say we were friends with the Durans until this incident happened.
And what are the Duran's names?
Hayden Duran is the father, and Jesse Duran is the son.
And did anyone else live with Hayden?
No.
Okay. And do you have Hayden's contact information if our firm does need to get hold of him at any point?
Yeah, it's at home.
Okay, perfect. And did you have a close relationship with the Duran family?
Oh yeah, we were pretty close. We spent time together as families, and Jesse would also come over to our house to have play dates with Sydney and stuff like that.
And did Jesse and Sydney have a good relationship?
Yeah, they were pretty much best friends.
Okay. And did you know if Jesse had any other friends that he was close to, or was Sydney really his only friend?
Not that I know of. They were more exclusively each other's friends. They didn't have many other outside friends.
Mm-hmm. And what did they do when they came over for play dates?
They played video games together, other types of games, stuff like that.
Was anyone watching them?
Yeah, we have a babysitter.
What's his or her name?
Danny.
Danny, and I assume you have Danny's contact info too?
Yeah.
Okay, great. And I'd like to ask you a little bit more about Sydney. How old was she?
She was about 12 years old.
Okay. And what was her personality like?
She was a homebody. She really didn't have too many friends. Not in a bad way or anything, but she liked to play like computer games, stuff like that. Hang out indoors, you know.
Did Sydney struggle in school at all, or have any concerns or issues from any of her teachers?
No, she was a pretty good student. Like I said, she just didn't have that many outside friends.
Mm-hmm. And what was your relationship like with Sydney?
It was great. She was my daughter. I loved her a lot, and you know, I miss her.
What did you do for fun as a family?
We went on various vacations, you know, some camping trips, stuff like that. We went out of town.
Okay. And I'd like to talk a little bit more about the events surrounding Sydney's death, so my firm understands what exactly happened, and that'll help us effectively represent you and your family. Is that okay if we talk about that?
Sure.
What day did this happen?
Let's see. I believe it was a work day. Because my wife and I were both at work, which is why the kids were left alone at our house.
Was anyone supposed to be supervising them that day?
Our neighbor the neighbor that lives directly to the right of us, if you're looking at our house, he was supposed to be checking in on them periodically, but he wasn't going to be like watching over them, like babysitting, because our babysitter had actually called in sick. But we had to go into work today, and the kids were old enough; they were about 11, and so they've stayed home before.
Did Hayden drop Jesse off at your house, or did Jesse just come over on his own?
Hayden dropped Jesse off. Hayden had to rush into work, something serious.
And did Hayden talk to Jesse before leaving?
Not to my knowledge. I think it was a pretty abrupt or pretty rushed thing.
And did he talk to you or Sydney or your wife?
I think just to the extent that he had to go into work and it was urgent.
And what did you last see Sydney and Jesse doing before you left for your job?
They were just hanging out in the living room, playing, just being kids.
Okay. And when were you made aware that something had happened?
I got a call from Officer Williams, I think right around 10 o'clock, and I had to rush home, and they wouldn't tell me, or my wife had gotten a call from Officer Williams, and then she had called me, and they wouldn't tell her right away, but then once she got to the house, she walked inside and saw that our daughter had been shot, and she was dead.
Would drawing out a map of where this took place in your house help us understand more of the situation?
Sure, I could do that.
Okay. So your wife walked in, and where did she find Sydney?
Okay, let's see. So there's the door.
Okay.
Front door, and you walk inside. There's some steps going upstairs. And then this would be the living room on the front side of the house, and that's where the girls were. We have a TV right there, and then couch right there, and then Sydney was laying right here. And then Jesse was sitting on the couch right here.
Was Sydney covered by anything at all, or was she just lying there and police hadn't processed the scene yet?
When my wife had gotten there, she was under a sheet, and she saw the little pink flip-flops sticking out.
And you mentioned Jesse was sitting at the couch. How did Jesse appear to be?
According to my wife, kind of distraught. Jesse was just kind of sitting there, confused. He had bags on his hands.
Did the police talk to you at all once you got home, or did you have to wait before you were able to talk to them?
They talked to my wife a little bit when she got there. Nothing too in-depth, because my wife was understandably pretty upset.
Did Hayden Duran show up at all?
Yep, he did. He showed up, and I think my wife said some heated comments to him, but no.
Did the police talk to him, if you're aware at all?
Not to my knowledge. I'm assuming they would talk to him, but I believe he demanded a lawyer when he got there.
Did he talk to Jesse at all once he got into the living room of your house?
I don't think he said anything except probably to the effect, "Are you okay?" or "What happened?"
Okay. And do you know how Sydney was killed?
They said she was shot in the head by our gun. It was a 6-shot Baker revolver that we kept locked in our gun safe in our bedroom.
And was this gun registered?
Yep, it was our gun. I was actually in the Navy, so I'm a good marksman.
Okay.
We bought the gun like I said after our house was burglarized.
And were you and your wife the only two that were aware that you had a firearm in the house?
Sydney did know we had a firearm, but she didn't know where we kept it or anything like that. She had asked about it, and we told her she didn't need to know where it was.
And what did you teach Sydney about guns and weapons in general?
Handling a gun is very serious and it can be dangerous and shouldn't be done by a kid, only by an adult.
And she wasn't aware of any combination for the safe or its location?
No,
Clarify that.
we had found her. She was going through our desk drawer one day in our office, and we have a folder that says for emergencies, and then there's just a post-it note with 6 digits on it, which is the gun safe combo, but it's not labeled anything, just has 6 numbers on a piece of paper.
Did anyone else outside of your family know that you had a firearm in the house?
No.
Do you know how it would have been possible for Jesse Duran to get access to your weapon?
Possibly her and Sydney, or him and Sydney had talked about it. I'm not entirely sure.
Okay. And what were the, or basically, what has it been like since then for you and your wife?
We've had to move out of our house because we couldn't stand to really be where that all happened and be close to the Durans. My wife took an extended absence from work, a little longer than I did. Our relationship has definitely changed. It's a lot more bleak. It's hard.
Have you talked to the Duran, or Hayden Duran or Jesse at all since then?
No.
And did the police or anyone conduct any follow-up interviews with you or your wife or the Durans, to your knowledge, after the incident took place?
Pretty much just normal type of stuff, getting statements from us, stuff like that. They should have it all recorded, I'm sure.
Did Jesse go before court at all?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure off the top of my head.
Okay. Do you have any questions at this point about moving forward?
No, not that I can think of.
Okay. Well, I'll kind of explain where my firm's going to go from here. I'm going to talk to one of my attorneys who will take your case, and then we'll continue to research out possible legal paths we can take, as I'm sure you want to see a closure and an end result to this against Mr. Duran. I'll leave my contact information, and if you have any questions, please feel free to call. Don't hesitate, and if you think of anything else important about Sydney or about anything relating to this incident or your situation, feel free.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.